Suelen's in the hospital. She just had a stroke.
Oh my gosh. It was very scary. Actually, the first thing that came to mind was, oh gosh, a stroke. That shouldn't be Suelen, that should be me.
And I just saw you and my heart literally dropped. I was thinking, no way.
To me, at that point, like, I saw everything, but I still couldn't believe that my cousin was having a stroke.
Honestly, my heart broke. I was in shock and in disbelief. I really didn't think, like, it was true, because I'm like, you're so young, like, how could that happen to you?
Everything just changed from then. I was like, no way. What am I going to do? How is she going to get through this? No matter what, we're going to do it. We're going to pray. We're going to get through it. Like, you know what I mean? It was actually heartbreaking.
I had just picked my cousin up from the airport and we were chilling at her house. I was laying on the floor on FaceTime to my other friend who I was picking up from the airport the next day. And it was just a regular conversation. Halfway through the conversation, my face felt weird. As I'm laughing, it feels like one side is more animated than the other. So it's not that one side wasn't moving, but just one side felt stronger than the other. So I'll be laughing and smiling, and it's like one side felt like it was like up here, and the other side only felt like it was here. And it was just a little bit weird, but I just thought, oh, maybe it's in my head. As the conversations continue, and I remember I paused, and I literally looked down and I thought, hold on a sec. Is this actually in my head, or is this really happening? Further on in the conversation, I can feel like my eyes are going like this. It's not that they're not working, I just feel like one is closing before the other. And it was just such a strange feeling. I really just dismissed everything. I was meant to film a video that night, but I was mad tired. So I said to my cousin, cool, you know what? I'm gonna go sleep and I'm gonna film the video tomorrow when we wake up. I had a perfectly fine night's sleep. There was nothing wrong with my sleep. And I woke up and it still felt the same. It still felt as though, okay, one side is doing more than the other side. So I remember I picked up my phone and went on Google, because Google is the closest thing to a doctor that was available at the time. And I remember typing in something along the lines of, what happens when one of my eyes is blinking before the other? Or my smile is stronger. I was very descriptive, and I was scrolling through the search results, you know, going on WebMD and stuff like that. And I was just avoiding everything that said stroke, because it's like, I ain't having no stroke. That's definitely not what's happening right now. There was a couple of things, and I just thought, oh, that seems a bit drastic. That seems a bit too far gone for what I feel like I have. So I got up and I went and I brushed my teeth. As I'm brushing my teeth, I look in the mirror. This hair is in front of me. I'm going like this. I'm blinking in the mirror, like, and I can see that one eye is blinking before the other. And I was just like, in the mirror, I was like, something is definitely wrong. This is not normal. I called my cousin and I was like, Abby, seriously, like, look at my face. Are you sure there's nothing wrong with my face? And she looked and she was like, actually, one of your eyes is closing before the other. But even after we established that something wasn't right, we still just thought, okay, yeah, there's something wrong. And we were going to collect the TV that morning that she had bought for her house. We picked up the TV, we came back to her house, we set up the TV, and then we decided, cool, you know what? Let's go to the cafe and eat. We got to the cafe. I had pulled up and parked the car. Before we got out the car, I FaceTimed one of my friends who had had Bell's palsy before. She said, hey, have you done the test? I said, what test? She's like, you know, the drinking water test. You drink water and see if the water spills out the side of your mouth. I was like, no, I haven't even had a drink like from this morning. So she's like, okay, cool, smile for me. So I go, and she said, no, I want you to smile with your teeth. So I'm there and I'm like, okay, cool. This side of my face went all the way up like this, and this side just didn't move. It hadn't dropped or anything like that. It just didn't move. So it was like this. She just said, okay, yeah, something's definitely wrong. Go to the hospital. I just thought, okay, cool. You know what? I'ma still go to the cafe. I'ma still go get my breakfast. So we got out of the car, we went to the cafe, we sit in the cafe, we order our breakfast, and breakfast comes and we eat it. I can see on my cousin's face, she's really worried. I really didn't like that. I feel like I needed to be strong for her. So I remember just making jokes with her.
Talking about stupid ass Christmas tree.
I think I could just see the fear in your face. Like, I could just see how worried
Because at that
you were.
point, I took it seriously. I was like, no. No.
We still managed to sit down and eat.
It's like the more you ate, the worse your face got.
As we're eating breakfast, my arm starts to drop. I couldn't lift up my arm. So I'm there eating like this. I just couldn't lift it up. At that point, I think I was still in that denial phase.
I got up to go and pay for the food.
Yeah.
And I think that's the point I started kind of feeling like, okay, just starting to get that little bit of panic. I
Yeah.
was just like, I've still got to stay calm because I don't want to, like, worry Abby. I don't want to stress her out. But in my head, I was like, okay, it's getting real. This is getting crazy.
So I said to her, cool, you know what? Let's go to the hospital now. We will walk into the car. And I just remember feeling like a wave come over me. Like, just, I don't know what it was. It was like, I just felt overwhelmed. And we got to the stoplight and we're standing there waiting to cross over. I just remember my leg just going, me just dropping, and my cousin quickly catching me. And at that point, I just burst out crying. I couldn't. I was so overwhelmed at the fact that I knew at this point there was no more denying it. I knew that something was really, really wrong. Got in the car and
I just remember me kept asking, are you sure you can drive?
yeah.
And stupidly, you kept saying yeah. Stupidly, I believed you.
Luckily, the hospital was like 2 minutes away. I just remember driving really fast. Got to the hospital, I didn't even park.
You parked like literally in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
This is so real. You left the car there.
Got out the car, went straight in. And as we're in this line, waiting to check into A&E, I just started crying. I just completely broke down. I was crying so hard because I knew I wasn't checking in there to leave. I wasn't checking in there to just get checked up by. I wasn't checking in to just get checked up by a doctor. I was checking in because, like, this is serious. And the reality of it hit, it wasn't anything small. I just remember breaking down. I felt like I was underwater. I felt like I was drowning. I really felt like I was drowning. I remember turning around and facing the wall while I was crying because I couldn't let my cousin see me weak because I needed to be strong for her. We went in to see the first nurse, doctor. I'm not sure what he was, like a nurse or doctor. And we in there and he's taking my bloods. And he turns around to my cousin and he said, "Does your cousin's face always look like that?" And I just thought, what? What does that even mean? And she just said, no, it doesn't. And at that point, I hadn't seen my face from the point I'd gotten off FaceTime to that point. I hadn't seen my face. And when I was on FaceTime to my friend before we went to go eat at the caf, my face was so symmetrical. It was so straight. We went through to the major's room. I'm laying on this bed and this doctor comes and he speaks to me. So he's gone away. He's gone and he said that he's gonna go and talk to his team and see what they have to say, what they're gonna do. And as he's gone, I've decided, cool, I'm gonna have a look. I'm gonna have a look, see what they say. And I pick up my phone and I'll go on the camera and I'm there and I'm like, it was either I laughed or I cried. My face was uneven and I just remember laughing and being like, my face is uneven. Like, yo, Abby, like, can you see this? The doctor comes back. He said, okay, cool. We're gonna call the stroke team and we're gonna send you for some scans. The stroke nurse came down, saw me, did her little evaluation of me, and then she took me to my scan. I'm waiting for the results, waiting to see what they have to say, what their decision is. My mom, my aunt, and my other cousin and my father walk in. As soon as my mom's come through this door, I could see my mom's heart break.
I was just shocked when I saw, because when I spoke to you over the phone, I couldn't imagine what you would look like. And when I saw your face with one side dropped like that, then it was like reality, wasn't it? She is having a stroke. And then I did feel like crying, and then I thought, okay, you can't cry. You have to be strong.
As we sitting there waiting, the nurse came back with the results and she said, we're gonna have to keep you here tonight. You're not gonna be able to go home. We're gonna check you into the ward. My heart sank and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say, but I knew, okay, if I break down, everybody else gonna break down. You gotta be strong right now. So I said, okay, that's no problem, that's fine. She took me upstairs. Everybody like following behind. We all go upstairs. She shows me to my bed. I'm laying in that bed. Everybody's around the bed. They've stayed as long as they can. Visiting hours are up. They gotta go. As they've gone later on that night, it's bedtime on the ward. So all the lights are off. And I just remember staring at the dark ceiling and I couldn't sleep at all. I was so scared. It was like this crippling fear that if I go to sleep, I'm going to wake up as somebody different. I'm going to wake up not knowing who I am. I'm going to wake up not being able to talk. I'm going to wake up not being able to move. I'm going to wake up as a different person. And I couldn't sleep. I was so scared. So scared. And I got my phone. I started to try to call somebody, anybody. I just needed somebody to pick up. So I called my mom and I called my dad, calling my aunt, calling my cousin. But it was so late at night. Everybody had been in the hospital all day, so everybody was tired and sleeping. And I'm calling everybody because I'm so scared. I just needed somebody to talk to. I called my friends. I was just crying and saying, I'm so scared. I'm so scared. I just remember them saying, yo, it's going to be okay. Just go to sleep. I'm so scared. And all of a sudden, it's like the whole room, everything, my whole body, just felt like it was going like that. Everything was dropping. My face felt like it was dropping. Because everything on this side was just gone. It was dropping. And I started panicking. I'm feeling it. And I'm panicking now. The phone is here. I'm talking to my friends. My face is dropping. My face is dropping. They started panicking. They're like, are you okay? Okay, you could be okay. You're going to be okay. And I could hear them panicking. I just thought, I can't do that to somebody. They're not here. They can't do anything for me. I can't put them in the position where I have them on the phone panicking over me. They can't do anything. I'm going to call the nurse. I'm going to call you back. And I could still hear panic in their voice. And they were like, okay, yeah. Do that. I'll call you back. And they hung up the phone. And I just remember moving my hand around like this on the bed, trying to find the emergency buzzer. And I found it and I pressed it. I'm pressing it. And I see this red light go up on above my head. And the nurse that I had that night came round. And he pulled the curtain back. And I could just see in his face. His face dropped. Not the way mine dropped. It dropped. I just cried my eyes out. And he said, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. I just woke up in the morning. That's all I remember. I could feel it. I didn't need to look. I could feel my face was down. My face had dropped. It was not the same. At this point, I was completely paralyzed on the left side. The day before, even though it was numb, I could still move it a little bit. After that night, there was no movement. There was none. I remember the doctors came. You could just see on the doctors' faces. I wasn't going home anytime soon. Like this was serious. I was 21, having a stroke, the youngest person in the whole ward. I was surrounded by people that were in their 60s and above. I'm there at 21. I've had a stroke. And they say, okay, we're going to go for this test, this medication, that medication. They giving me all this different medication. I didn't get to see my face until later on in the day when my parents came. And my mom got me up and gave me a shower. From there, it was just my mom and my dad coming back. My mom and my dad never missed a day. My aunt came majority of the days as well. Every day, the nurses would come around and say, have you bathed? And I said, no, I'm waiting for my mom. He said, are you sure you don't want us to do it? I said, no, it's fine. My mom is coming. Every day my mom would come and she would get me up and she would bathe me. And they would sit there for hours on end, whether I was sleeping, whether I was awake. It was all good on weekends and stuff where my mom and my dad could be there all day. But during the week, my mom and my dad had work. So they go to work and they come from work in the evening and come and spend all night and then go home. Repeat that. And my sisters would call from Canada and I sit on the phone to my sister. And my family would be calling from Jamaica nonstop, messaging. Everybody was there. Everybody was so supportive. But during the day when I was there by myself, I just cry. I would just cry because I just felt like, oh my gosh, how is this happening? Like, how is this happening? Every day, the doctors would come in. The doctors would assess me. They ask me to do these things, and it's like I'm trying my hardest to do these things, but it's not. It's obviously not the way it's meant to be. They just look at me so disappointed, and I just break down. It's like, I'm trying. I'm really trying. I promise you, I'm trying my hardest. I'm trying. I remember one day one of my friends came and this argument started. I'm having this argument and going back and forth, and I could feel my face dropping. And I had a seizure. I woke up the next day. I couldn't talk. I could not talk. Now I can barely move. My face is messed up, and now I can't talk. Mentally, I can't concentrate on nothing. I couldn't retain any information. I had to relearn everything. I have to learn to walk again. I remember the day finally came for me to get to go home. I was so happy. They were like, okay, you can go home today. Wait for the doctor to come around and you can go home. I was so happy. That day, as I know what went wrong, I had been having heart palpitations since I got into the hospital. But that day, they were so bad. I couldn't do anything. I was in so much pain. My heart was palpitating so bad and being so fast and heavy. It's too much. My whole body's shaking. It got so bad that I had to press the emergency buzzer. And they came, they checked me, and they told the doctor, and the doctor came around and checked it. And the doctor said, well, I'm not particularly comfortable with sending you home today, but I can't force you to stay here. So if you're comfortable with going home, I'll let you go. I said, yes, I would like to go home, please. And I knew in my gut, I needed to stay in the hospital, but I couldn't anymore. I really wanted to go home. So I said, please send me home. And she said, okay. She wrote my discharge letter. She came, she gave it to me. And we got home and I got in my bed and oh my gosh, nothing like it. I've never been so happy to get in my bed, my own bed. It was over the weekend, so my mom was there the next day to help me out, help me bathe, help me sort myself out. And so Monday came, my mom had booked a carer to come. So I had a carer come, and a carer would come in the morning, wake me up, make sure I got myself clean and got myself ready, take me downstairs to get my breakfast, just chat with me, make sure I have my medication, help me practice walking up and down the stairs because I wasn't allowed to go down the stairs by myself. She was lovely. She was a huge help. After a while, once I could kind of get up and down the stairs by myself, I stopped needing the carer to come by. Then I was at home the whole day by myself. And I think that's when it really got hard, because I had to really push myself to get up and get myself together. Because one of the worries was, you come home and you just sit in bed and you don't get up, you could put yourself in a position to be having another stroke. That was a scary, like really scary thought. I think the recovery process was harder on me mentally than it was physically. Like, it was much harder to mentally and emotionally pull myself through this than it was to get my body up. It was hard. All of it was hard. Like, it was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. No matter what you can do physically, if mentally you can't push yourself to get up in the first place, you can't do anything physically. So everything started with the mind. And the mind was the hardest thing to deal with throughout all of this.
21 and you've had a stroke. Like, what does that say about you and your life?
You have to fix the mind before you can bestow the blessing, because until they get their mind right, everything you invest in them is going to leak out of the crevices of a mind that refuses to change.
I'm really tired today. Good, I'm going to try not to go back to sleep for a little while. My arms are doing pretty well. I feel like my arms are improving a lot faster than my legs. It's moving. It's moving. Oh wow, you've come so far, so concentrate on how far you've come instead of how far you have to go. And I know it's great, like, yeah, but honestly, like, I'm just over not being myself. I'm just trying to figure out, like, what the hell did I do to deserve having a stroke at 21? Like, my life is so fucked up right now. I feel like I'm fighting for my life. All your other problems don't just go away because you have a stroke. So then you're not just dealing with the stroke, you're dealing with the stroke, and you're dealing with all the other problems you had before the stroke as well, because they don't just, the stroke is not like a magic button that makes it all go away. Actually, it makes it all worse, because now there is a whole nother ton of stuff on your head. So freaking young. How you had a stroke and your life just stopped, like my life. Like, I've completely lost myself. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I want to do anymore. Everything is a mess right now. I was just about to post a positive shot on Instagram. I hope I will, like, try to convince myself of what I'm saying. It's like, sometimes I be posting stuff thinking it's for other people, but it's for me. Like, I need to remind myself. I feel so far gone from being myself. Sometimes I'm just watching. I'm just watching the world go by, and everybody's doing everything. Everybody's living their lives and everything. It's like, I'm just stuck. What? Fuck it. Fuck everything. I'm gonna jump on a flight to Jamaica. And in my head, I don't know why, but like, that just makes everything better. I need everything that's happening, everything that I have been through, to mean something, to be worth something. Being sad and being depressed is so tiring, and I don't want to be. I know it's not something I can click my fingers and take away, but I think a really big step is wanting, not just saying, oh, I don't want to be like this, like genuinely having the fight in you to change and to want change, even if you can't change, because it's hard. Like,
it's so hard, but you have to really get to that point where you're completely tired. It has to change. Like, it has to do better. Like, I can't live like this. And I think that's the point I'm at. I'm not gonna allow myself to continue to be consumed by it. I still have to be able to push through, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay.
I want to say a huge thank you to my family. My mother, my father, my cousins, my aunts, my uncles, my grandmothers, my grandfather. Thank you. When they say, when everything hits a fan, your family's the only people you got, they really mean it. You have to appreciate that. And for all the kind and supportive and loving messages, prayers, and all of that I've received through my social media, thank you so much. I think people underestimate the power of just sending positive vibes and praying for somebody. Thank you so much.
Stuck in them 20-somethings, stuck in them 20-somethings, good luck on them 20-somethings, good luck on them 20-somethings, God bless these 20-somethings.